Hello YouTube. Is that glare killing y'all? Got Austin back here putting new lifters in. Hopefully that fixes his issue. I haven't posted in a while. I ain't been feeling good, but I feel a lot better today. I had to go to the doctor and get a bunch of tests done. Apparently I got a hernia down by my groin. It's been causing me a lot of pain, so probably had to go get surgery for that. I had to get a bunch of tests done to make sure that's what it is. But anyway, I posted some shorts. Got the turbo in. There was a guy down at the local muffler shop. He welded it for me. Definitely not show car welds, but it's going to do the job. That's what matters to me. But that's where the turbo is going to be. Plenty of room. I can actually, that T4 flange, it's got V-bands on each side, so I can loosen those and clock this back and forth to make it closer or further away from the radiator. Now I just got to figure out where I'm going to put the wastegates at. I think I'm going to put one right there in that bend, and then one down there in that bend. But we'll have to figure that out and take all that back off. And then I ordered the lines and stuff I needed for the oil in and the oil return. And then I went to Royal King and bought this stuff. So this is Huron Speed makes a intercooler mounting bracket that goes up there, and it just mounts to where the bumper would go. But it's like 195 bucks. I went to Royal King and I bought this. I'm just going to copy what they had. I probably would have bought it, but my intercooler has different bolt spacing than what they had, so I went to Royal King and just bought this. This is just a flat piece of metal, 1 1/4 by 48. And then I bought this box stuff, pretty much again, just copying what Huron Speed did for their kit. I'm a copycat. And then 3/4 by 48 square. Now I don't need to do that. I already looked at the Huron Speed one online. But whoa, about fell. That's gonna go right there. Oh. And then a couple of flat pieces will come out, and then the intercooler will be right there. It'll be tucked back just a little under here. I thought about, and I did mark it, I thought about just hanging it on this, but that's that plastic fiberglass stuff. I'm not sure how well I trust it. I thought about just drilling holes and just running the bottom, but let's just mount it all the way Huron Speed did theirs. And that's what we're going to work on today. Oh, almost forgot. So the eBay fans I had, they wouldn't keep it cool at idle. So I put the stock fans on there. And where those are so thick and bulky, they kept it cool at idle, but they wouldn't let enough air in going down the highway. And they'd get up to about 210 going down the highway. And it's got a 160 thermostat in it, so it shouldn't get that hot. But it does stay 205 to 210 going down the highway. So I went ahead and bit the bullet and bought these bigger fans, or these Durrell fans that are $150 each, and put those in there. Those are way slimmer, and those should work perfect. And also I bit the bullet and bought some QA1 double adjustable pullovers. I think I got it set about where I want it, but I'll do some measuring, and I haven't tightened that bottom nut up, but I have to put the wheel on blocks to get the jack under the K-member, because I was going to jack the whole car up. But just looking at it, that looks like it's going to be about right, about where it was before. And it's actually got quite a bit of travel. You only want the travel for no prep. Like if you're on a prep service, you don't really need that much travel. But we might try a few different things with this car. But yeah, fans, coilovers, and radiators in. And now we'll work on this this mount for the bought that stuff at Royal King. That's the best place to get that stuff. It was $45. I bought like 10 bolts and nuts and washers too. So I think those were 16 each, and this one was like 14. And then the bolts and washers were only like a dollar or two. But yeah, let's get started. All right, I cut that square piece to about where it was just a little past the hole. And I drilled, those are 8mm bolts, by the way. M8 1.25 thread pitch, and I did have to use a washer on the back side because that big old slot. And I use a lock washer on that. Big washer, lock washer, and then the nut. And yeah, so that's going to be the top one. Now we're just going to mark where the intercooler is going to be at, and we're going to run some of that flat stuff straight out. Another good thing about it is those top bolt holes that the bumper, oh, you have to take your bumper support off if you're doing this, of course. But those top holes are slotted up and down, so I'm able to raise the bar up and down. It's a good thing too, because I got my bolt holes crooked. I didn't get my bolt holes exactly in the middle. I got that one on the bottom, and then I got that one on the top. That's fine, because they're slotted and moved up and down. Let's go out here and see how Austin's doing. He's a gosh danging it. Hopefully that big master cylinder in there and power brakes, hopefully he don't have to take the studs out to get the head off. I think he's gonna have to.
Shut up.
You definitely have to on this side if you've got the AC compressor in there, but if you don't have the AC, not the compressor, the whatever that's called. Anyway, that AC box is out. You don't have to have.
I think it'll come
It'll
out.
come out with the stud still in it.
I think it will.
But this side is done. New lifters. We used the old trays because they weren't that old.
They were really good, not brittle.
They were good, not brittle. But we bought BTR LS7 lifters and BTR LS9 head gaskets. Put back on it again. It's the third time we've put gaskets on this thing. He did it first when he changed the when he put the turbo on it. He went ahead and put ARP bolts and new gaskets, and then it blowed a head gasket. Then we did it again. Now we're having what we think's a lifter noise on this side, so now we're doing it again. We didn't want to reuse the old lifters, but he's getting her done. Hopefully, yeah, I know you guys have been wanting to see this one at the track, especially with this bump, big old turbo. I could fit my turbo up inside there. Wah, wah, ha, 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 ha. So on this right here, I've already marked where the bolt holes are. So I can just line this up and mark it. And I'm going to come to about where the bolt hole's going to be about, I don't know, about right there. I was looking at Austin's, that's about where his is at. Actually, his is lined up with just about that hole right there. That's where his bolts do. Mine comes out wider though. I'm going to put the bolt hole just right in front of it. There should be enough room there. That's on his bolts right there. Mine has water bolt holes. I done looked it
mine
up.
could be a little different where it's...
If you look at my bumper cover, So it's going to be about right here. I got about 3 or 4 inches before that'll hit. But I'm going to cut all that out, and probably going to have to cut this out too. If one of these holes lines up with the bottom intercooler bolt, I might just bolt it to that. But what are the odds of that? So this will probably get cut out, and I'm probably going to cut that whole thing out. I might leave the Chevy emblem in the middle just for a little bit of bracing, and cut the rest of that out. Probably to where those holes are for the license plate. Probably cut all that out, all this out. Alright, so these pieces I cut off, that flat piece, and I just eyeballed how far I wanted it to come out. I made them a little bit longer. We still got drill holes in them, but I went ahead and measured this big piece that went across the top. So it did come out without removing the studs. So there you go. You can remove the head with studs with power brakes. Woot woot. Anyway, I measured from that bolt hole to that bolt hole, which was 33 and a half. So half of that's 1675. We're going to make us a center mark. All right, so now we've measured the distance between the bolts at the top, which is 19 and 5/8. Half of that would be 9 and 13/16. Yeah, 9 and 13/16. So now we'll measure out here 9 and 13/16. 9 and 13/16 will make a mark. So these are 1.25 inches wide, so I just made a mark 5/8 right in the middle, and then we'll just mark that mark up with that. Try to get them as straight as we can and weld them on there. And I might tack them first and then set them over the intercooler just to make sure everything's going to line up before we weld them all the way in. So don't do like I did. I was about to weld that on there like that. See the bolt hole? That would have been facing straight down. Pay attention. Don't mess up like I almost did. I'm going to use them vice grips to hold those on there. Then see where I'm at.
Don't do.
Alright. That come out pretty good. Maybe right there. Right there. So we can go ahead and weld those on. Well, there was my practice weld. Make sure I had the settings right. Didn't look too bad. Thought I could live with that. But then, I messed up. What happens with me is I can't see, and then I come off the line, so I couldn't see and I came off. So I had to redo it and I messed up. But look at my second one. Look at that. That ain't bad at all. I take that all day long. Alright, let's do the other side on both sides. And we're going to do this bottom part. And again, someone got confused on one of my videos. I clearly stated, I am not a welder. I repeat, I'm not a welder. This is probably only like the second or third time I've even attempted to do this. Besides tech school or auto shop class, we had one day where we did well. I think 1 week maybe we did welding, but God, that was 30 years ago. 30 something years ago. But no, I'm no welder, and I think with some practice though, I think I could get it. That ain't bad. And that's just with the flux wire. That ain't with the gas. The gas, it looks better. But anyway, that's where I messed up. But I don't know. I messed up there too. I messed up everywhere except for right there. That don't look too bad. Oh well. You know what? It'll hold. That's all that matters. Alright, Austin. Help me. Austin finished with his. He got that side head off. And his brother wants to come over and watch him do the other head to learn. But Austin helped me hang this up there. And look at there. Everything lined up perfect. I think that's going to work. Is it lower than It ain't lower than the fan, is it? No.
Nope.
So I just wanted to make sure it wasn't lower than the air dam. And it is not. Which is good. Because the way we made that, we've got it as high as it'll go. And that's 1 foot by what, 31? 3-inch. His is 26 and 4 inches by 1 foot. So his is thicker, but it's more narrow. But I'll move that horn to where the horn's facing. I can just unbolt that bolt and swing that up. I don't think I took that other horn off. That other horn on the other side's off. And I'll go right through that hole, right to there.
So you found
But we're gonna make the bottom bracket. All right, went ahead and set the bumper cover back on there. It's not lined up perfect, but there's plenty of room in there. But where the fog lights go, see how that's deeper than the rest of it? That's definitely gonna have to be cut out. Which, I mean, there's enough room to put the pipe on there. And then the other side, a little bit less room, but there's plenty of room to put the pipe on. So probably don't even really need to cut those out, but I'm gonna cut them out just to have more air. I'm gonna leave the Chevy emblem there and probably just cut right here and right here and around. And that way there's a little bit of bracing there. But yeah. And then that flat piece, it can actually stay in there. It just loops up and around the intercooler, which would probably help with airflow once it hits that air dam. I don't know. We'll look up here. Right there is where now that would normally come up higher. Yeah, I'm gonna cut that out of there too. We'll cut that off too, because I think that'll hinder airflow a little bit, because there's just a little bitty crack left down there. Whereas if we cut that out, there's a whole bunch left. Alright, I've cut these little flat pieces about 10 inches long, because what we're going to do, that hole right there, we're going to come straight down like that. And then that bar is going to go straight across. Then we're going to have some more of these flat ones going out like that to bolt to the intercooler. So I'm going to go ahead and drill a hole and bolt these to the car. And these that are hanging down, I didn't take a precise measurement on these. It was like 9 1/4 to the bottom of the bolt holes down here. I made them 10 inches. Just keep in mind where you're going to put that, and if you're going to come off the top and bottom like this, make sure. But I just cut them longer for now, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bolt these up, and then I'm going to hang that with some vice grips. All right, I put that bracket on, and I just let it hang straight down, tighten it up. Same thing on this side. And then I just got a couple pair of vice grips holding it. So I'm going to come with the metal piece off the bottom, like off the bottom. So what I did was kind of eyeballed it, and I'm going to take a piece of that flat stock and make sure it's absolutely right, and move this up and down till it's nice and straight. See, like that's way too high. I have to knock that down a little bit. And I grabbed a piece of a flat piece, and I'll put a flat piece from here to there just to make sure it's where it needs to be. And then I'll go ahead and tack it while it's on there. And then once we get it welded, we can cut this extra off, but it's better to have too much than not enough. So, and also that brings me to my next point. How much do we need? Probably from here, I'm gonna say from there to the front of the intercooler about 5 inches. We don't need that much of it, but again, better long than short. So, yeah. I could have swore I set that down here. But let me get a flat piece and get this bar straight with these holes, with the mounting spot, and then tack that up. And guys, you don't need a welder to do this. You have to drill more holes. So every spot that I'm welding, you just drill you a hole and get you another nut and bolt. The way that it's made. See, like here, drill a hole, nut and bolt. That'd probably be just as easy as welding it. Drill a hole, nut and bolt. These coming off, drill a hole, nut and bolt. You don't have to have a welder, but we're welding it. See if I can do this with one hand. So I'm gonna hold that up there flat, and then loosen the vice grip, bring it down, and go to the other side, do the same thing, back and forth till they're both right even with that. All right, we got those tacked on there, both sides. That way we can take the vice grips off. Now, I'm gonna cut 2 5-inch pieces of this. We don't need 5 inches, but it's better to have it longer than shorter. We can always cut off what we don't need. So let's go ahead and cut 2 5-inch pieces. And again, you don't need a welder for this. You just have to drill more holes and get some more nuts and bolts. But I'm using a welder, an angle iron, cut-off wheel, and some sanding wheels, because you drill the holes, there's kind of burrs, so I sand those off. And a 4 feet piece of this, I think I said at the front of the video what it was, and then 2 4 feet pieces of that square stuff, 2 4 foot pieces of that. And I'm gonna have about that much of this left over. And I had about, I don't know, 3 feet of that square stuff left over. A foot from one piece and like 2 feet from the other piece that I cut that goes across there. But anyway, let's cut this. All right, I got my little 5-inch pieces cut. And again, that's too long. But you can always cut it off later. But what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna figure out where I need to drill the hole in this. I'm gonna go ahead and drill the hole, and then I'm gonna bolt it up there, and then the back I'm gonna hold it with the vice grips, and then I'll tack it. But that's how I'm gonna do that. All right, there we go. Put the bolt in it, and this was springy. It was springing forward some and back. So I did push it back to take the springiness out of it, and then clamped them. All right, now I'll tack those, take it out, weld all around all the spots that need welded, and cut off the excess that we don't need. Let's go ahead and tack it up, and then we'll take it out. Well, there's the done bottom piece, and my welds are terrible. I think they got worse as I went. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But anyway, I beat on all those pieces with a hammer, and they're not coming off. But my welding is terrible. But I don't care. It's going to serve its purpose. It's going to work. I'm going to cut the excess off down here. And then I'm going to hit it with one of these sanding wheels and paint it and call it good. What do y'all think? I'm gonna go ahead and mount it back up in there. All right, everything bolted back up. Again, my welds are trash. But you know what? I don't really care. Serves a purpose. It functions. It works. Nobody's gonna be in there to see it anyway. But I will grind those terrible welds down and paint it, cut some excess off. I don't need, maybe around these corners with just a sanding wheel on an angle grinder. But again, need a welder to do this. which is probably the advice I should have took because I suck at welding. You can just drill nut and bolts every place that I welded. You could just drill nut and bolt, easy. But here's my parts list. Flat steel, 1049, 48 inches, 11 by 4. I don't know what that means. And then square tube, 3/4, 48 inches, $15.99 each. A bunch of nuts and bolts. Come to $46.81. But that works for me. I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it. I wish I could weld better. And in hindsight, I probably should have did nut and bolt. But you know what? I wanted to practice welding and see how it turned out. Like I said, only about the third time I've tried to weld. But tomorrow, I think I'm gonna run all the intercooler piping, and then I have a weld on intake air temperature and the blow off valve. I'm gonna have somebody weld that to the aluminum, and just gonna run the piping, see how it looks. But do that too. But y'all like and subscribe and have a great day, and don't make too much fun of my welding. I mean, a little bit you can, but no, I'm just kidding. It's terrible. I can't weld, but it works for me.